On the Couch is brought to you by VOP Online Radio. The voice you remember.
Good evening, and just like that, it's Thursday again, and welcome to On the Couch on VOP Online Radio, the voice you remember. In the studio with me tonight is Tracy and Ashwin, which are no strangers to the radio station. Welcome, Tracy and Ashwin.
Yeah.
Yay!
And this evening, I'd like to do something a little different than I normally do. I would like to thank you guys for being here.
Aww.
We just reached over a month of On the Couch shows. And I know I'm not the easiest person to work with because my brain is all over the show. I'm thinking of 100 things at the same time. And I appreciate the time that you guys take out of your busy lives. I know you have busy lives. And I appreciate the sacrifice and the time it takes. And all the phone calls you answer when I do phone. And I know sometimes, not always because you're busy, and I always get a phone call back. So I'd like to thank you from the bottom of my heart. I really, you know, guys don't know, I really appreciate it. It makes a difference when you are here. Even if it's just one of you that is not here, I feel it. And then I would like to thank the media department at VOP, because without them, the show won't be what it is today, because they are working in the background. So I would like to thank the media department as well.
I don't mind the phone calls, but maybe the 2 and 3 a.m. ones, can you know?
No,
Wait
but
a bit
Can you
later.
stop now?
That's when the best idea comes, you know, the 2 and 3 a.m. or jumping in the shower, and then the idea
Oh, yeah, but
just...
that's because you go to work that time. The rest of us, we're still enjoying that.
Yeah, people
last
people
few
don't know
hours.
that I'm an early riser, and that I'm up at that time of the morning, getting ready and going to work. And
Oh,
then,
but we do.
and then after that, coming to VOP and doing the afternoon
Doing
session
the
or the
things.
night shift. So yeah, I'd just like to thank you, and then I would also like to thank our listeners, our loyal listeners that has been listening for a month and one episode, because this is our 6th episode. So I really appreciate you guys for listening, and those of you who send text to say, hey, that was a great show, really enjoyed it, and even those with constructive criticism, we like that too, because it shows us where we need to improve.
Absolutely.
So I appreciate all of them.
Please come, let it come in.
Yeah, really. It shows me that you guys are listening and you guys are interactive, which I really love. So,
And there's always room for growth and improvement.
no, there is. This is just the start. I've taken a little break this weekend with the rain, the past weekend, and just like a half an hour or hour to myself just to think. So, where's the show going? What is the plan? Right? And where can we improve? What do we do? So there's a lot of new ideas that I have for the show. But on that note, I would like to make an announcement to the listeners.
Is it
So
a good announcement?
you can decide for yourself after I tell you. So On the Couch will be moving over full-time to VOP Media Ministries on YouTube. So that is the big announcement. So we'll no longer be on VOP Online Radio. We will be on VOP Media Ministries on YouTube. Same time, just a different place. So you guys can tune in over there. We'll still be broadcasting live from 7. And if you miss it, don't worry. It's always on YouTube. So you can listen to it and you can listen to our previous shows.
Exciting stuff.
Yeah, and I
think
mean,
there's
that's
some big
fine.
stuff.
Even the elderly-ish people, I think they can navigate their way a bit better with YouTube than
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can watch it on your TV or wherever you are.
Or on
Every
your
week.
phone.
every week. My mom is like, send me the link.
I missed the show. We're going to listen to it.
Exactly.
So with that, before we continue in today's show, let's say a prayer.
Dear Lord God, we thank you that we have this time to reflect and to come to a place where we find meaning, purpose, and direction for our lives. And it is at this juncture that we ask you to be close to us and to speak to us in a way that is real, meaningful, and that will add value to our lives. And we pray this, that each person listening will be encouraged. In Jesus' name, amen.
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 So the topic for this evening is exams. So I know there are learners that are writing exams now currently, high school learners, and there was possibly parents that are writing exams as well.
And even university
Yes.
coming up now.
Yes, that's the parents that have to go to work and have to see to the kids and studying on the side. So they have a tough time with all of that, and it can be overwhelming. So all of us in the room currently in the studio have written exams, have we not? Whether in high school or a tertiary institution. So we know that pressure.
Yeah, I really don't want to revisit that. It was not fun.
That
trick.
that is a touchy topic for me because I was not a fan of being put under pressure. Like I excel when I'm not under pressure, you know. But then again, that little bit of pressure sometimes drives you to your best. So maybe it can be a good thing.
Yeah, like, can I just say, around the exam time, you can feel it. You as a person, you can feel it in your tummy, in your stomach.
It's like your stomach's being eaten from the inside.
You know, some people say butterflies. You feel that butterflies, that nervousness. For other people like me, I feel elephants. Elephants roaming around in your stomach.
But you know you get those people, like, you know, those guys that are super chilled, that don't worry at all about it. I always envied them because I was like, do they not feel stressed? Are they not worried about it, you know?
Yeah. Those are probably the guys.
I think people also test differently, you know. Some people enjoy that stress, other people are like...
Or they just don't show it.
Mm.
You just keep it inside and hide it. And they just hide it well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have an interesting fact that I found that I know the listeners heard our broadcast on stress and anxiety. But now I found something controversial, if you might say.
Okay.
So, I know it's believed that stress and anxiety can be good, right? We said this. Stress and anxiety pushes
Absolutely.
you towards the finish line or stops you procrastinating because you're feeling the stress, so you have to do this now. But there's some scientific studies that show otherwise. What am I saying?
What are you saying?
So, when we're stressed, our brain releases high level of cortisol, which clouds our thinking. So, we know that, do we?
So it's like immobilizing, basically.
Yeah, it's you all feel like, say for example, those of us who have written exams, or we were in a stressful situation, or we were in an interview. You walk in there, you're feeling anxious and maybe overwhelmed. And then you're answering the questions. Later that day, you calm down, your body recovers, all the stress is gone. You may be just relaxing on the couch. See what I did there on the couch? But then all the answers flow. Then you're like, yo, I should have said that. Oh, I should have said that. I should have written that if it was an exam. Oh, that's a better one.
You actually find out you actually knew the answer to some of those questions.
Yes, that way you went blank. You were like, oh, there's the answer. So this is what happens when you stress. It clouds your brain. You know, you're not clear. So that's a little bit contrary to what we were saying previously. But I think it's different for everybody.
No, most absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the time also it's the way the questions are asked that sometimes the students, I don't want to say kids, the students
Yeah.
interpreted differently.
Yeah, like it's there to kind of half trick you.
Exactly.
But even more like when I was at university, they'd give you different readings, right? And they are sometimes thick.
Yeah.
And you've got one writer. You need to associate the thought with that writer.
Wow.
And you've got like 5 readings or 6 or 7. And out of the 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever amount of readings, you must associate certain thoughts to that writer.
Yeah.
Man, that,
so you
that
actually
was
need to
my
read up on the
worst.
writer.
You need to know the style of the writer then.
You need to understand their thinking,
Yeah.
their style, what they're trying to bring out.
Yeah, so that's why it's important when we do go through this time that most of us are in busy writing exams right now, whether it be the child, high school, university, or parents, is to stay cool, calm, and collected. Helps your brain to function more. So you need to find that way to calm yourself down during the exam and before the exam. But if you don't know where to start, so where do I start with calming myself down, right? Where do I start? But before we do that, Ashwin, you told me about a little interesting story you have to tell us. Something to put a smile on our faces.
We were at college and it was exam time. And we had to get a scope of the exam. So they put it on the screen, of course. And when we put it on the screen, the lecturer put it on the screen, we'd run through the scope and then he would help us to get an understanding of whatever we discussing.
Yeah.
But this one day, we were looking at it and one of the guys in the class hacked into the Wi-Fi. And he basically went onto the projector that the lecturer was on. And then he changed the scope to the scope that he put on. So when the lecturer was explaining, it was something else.
Oh my goodness.
So that is actually one of the important things when it comes to preparing for exams, is to have a good attitude, a positive attitude, Don't be all
Absolutely.
doom and gloom. Smile.
Yeah.
Make you feel better. Smile at yourself in the mirror if you have to.
It might just turn out better than you think. Eh?
Yeah.
It's
There's
like-
Sometimes not.
really. Okay.
But you know, people...
First wash your face, like get up, brush your teeth, and then smile at yourself in the mirror because
Colgate smile.
you might just be surprised when you see in the mirror first thing in the morning when you wake up.
Oh yeah, no. but you know what happens? Right? Sometimes people do this. They have this perception in their mind when they project an opposite thing, they will get the opposite reaction. So
Yeah.
like they'll say, "Oh, I'm normally." Not negative, like say they think they're not going to do well, but then they actually do well.
Yeah.
I know a guy that used to downplay it all the time. He would like say, I don't think I'm going to do well or all that. The man got like
Straight
80s and
A's.
90s. And I think maybe it's like this mindset that you project as well.
Because you also
Yeah.
don't want to get disappointed. I know myself. I was a
Yeah.
procrastinator high school.
Mm.
I always thought I had more time than I actually did. I'd be like, the exam is in 2-3 weeks. I got enough time.
Yeah.
So I think that also adds to the stress levels.
Because you're now going to study the night before.
Exactly.
You do
fun-
projects the night before.
A fun fact about procrastination with regard to me, I used to bake. I used to bake when I wanted to procrastinate because I was like, so what can I eat? Because the munchies when you
Yeah.
and have
When
to
you're
study.
studying.
So it's like raining like this, like the season at the moment. It's
Yeah.
like raining.
This is comfort
and
food weather.
Yeah, and like what can I make?
That
And I'm
explains the
making-
cookies in the studio today.
Did you bake them, Ashwin?
Can neither confirm or deny.
So number one would be you need to prioritize your time. You need to focus on what is important.
Mm.
So which exam is coming first and focus on that one? Because you have your timetable, you know how it's set out. So you need to focus on the important things. So yeah, focus on the important exams. The first one first. And then number two, you're drawing up that the plan, the timetable. So you can write a to-do list of everything you need to cover before you start studying, and you can tick it off as you go along. So you can see how you're progressing, right? And then, very important, I know you're going to tell me, oh, but there's not enough time because I need to focus. I'm stressing that I'm running out of time with the exam. I don't have enough time to cover everything. But exercise and eating healthy is very important.
Our favorite, eh?
Yeah, you know.
Exercise.
So even if it's just to clear your mind, so take a break. Even if it's just for 15 minutes, just go for a brisk walk. I'm not talking about a stroll. I'm talking about a brisk walk. So walking a little bit faster, that gets you
Get
a
the
little,
heart rate up.
yes, and a little bit sweaty, like that. You know, that fine
Perspiration.
on mist on your forehead. Like that's what you want. So you're walking with urgency. So 15 minutes, just take a break and you come back, you'll feel better and you'll be able to focus and continue. So that is very important. And what is critical to your mental health is food, like Ashwin was saying earlier. You want those comfort foods, and he was baking all those cakes and scones and biscuits, if I missed out anything, and pancakes.
If you missed it out, I can make for you.
Because you're feeling peckish, and it is very important that you eat proper, healthy food. So the junk food is the easiest things to go for because it's convenient.
Yeah,
But I want to tell you today, the healthy food will make a difference when you study.
absolutely. But
So-
they might not see it immediately, but it does definitely have effects on
In
you.
effects, yeah.
So, what type of healthy food are we actually talking about? here?
So it's
Carrots.
healthy food to improve the brain power.
Okay.
So it's funny that you mentioned carrots because you didn't see this list and carrots is on the list.
Wow.
And if you can tell me why carrots is on the list, do you have any idea? Oh, just take a wild guess.
It's good for your eyes. Don't you need your eyes to study and read?
Okay, Ashwin, any guess?
I'm a bit blank here.
No, you can't see my notes. I see you glancing over. But let me tell you this. So fresh fruits and vegetables, right? Choose your favorite. We're not going to force you to eat fruits and vegetables you don't like. So those carrots, you make carrot sticks, you chop them up. I don't think your parent or guardian would mind if you asked them to chop up some carrots for you, or even some cucumber in little sticks, like bite-sized, you know? And even the celery sticks will work. So the interesting fact is, yes, I know you say carrots are good for your eyes, so we've been told. But in this case, it is actually the crunch of the carrot when
Whoa.
you bite, and the crunch of the cucumber is what you want. It helps, apparently, to release that little bit of anxiety and stress when you're munching on that. So it has to be crispy, it has to be fresh so you can get that crunch. And that apparently releases some stress and tension. So you sometimes store stress and tension in your jaws over here, and they sometimes tell you to put a pencil between your mouth, between your teeth, and just rest it there to release the tension in your jaw. But now with the carrot, you get that satisfying crunch sound. So you don't need a Magnum when you bite through the chocolate, that crunch sound. You can just have a carrot or a cucumber.
But a Magnum works too, right?
No. We're promoting healthy food here.
okay.
Healthy food. Let's not tempt the listeners with Magnums and all these ice creams.
No, but it's the truth though. Like I like healthy food when I'm studying. Like I have this, you know, the superfoods jar.
Yes.
I bought myself that now because I realized like when I need a boost, I take a scoop of that, and it does phenomenal stuff to me. Like I got energy. I want to run a marathon. And like I just feel good, man. And I mean, you know the consequences of wanting to feel good as opposed to what happens after the Magnum.
Yeah.
It it makes you sluggish afterwards. You want to sleep and, you know.
And tell me.
I can't afford to do that when I'm supposed to be studying, you know.
And tell me, this is the other thing. Partly, you know the Magnum is not good for you. It makes you feel good in the beginning, but don't you feel guilty afterwards?
No, there's no guilt
If
here.
you have the if you have the full size one, right? You get the mini ones. It comes in
Yes.
packs of 6. That I don't feel guilty about. But if I have a full size one, you're death by chocolate.
But
There's no such thing.
And then you feel like, that was bad of me to finish the whole thing, but it was so nice.
But I think it's just that whole thing about the placebo, actually.
Yeah.
It's like we just want to be satisfied because when we taste it and then it's over and then what?
Yeah.
You know,
That instant satisfaction that
Yes.
it brings.
and so that's definitely a placebo effect. Now it tells your brain, okay, now you've had it and now.
But you know what
You
they
know.
say about those instant satisfaction things? Moment on the lips, lifetime on the hips, something like that.
Really, we're gonna go there.
Moving on.
But on a serious note, though, it's a really nice tip. The healthy eating
Yeah.
for parents
Mm.
to sort of just alleviate the
Stress
stress.
and anxiety and the overwhelming.
You know, don't
So-
be
and-
overbearing. You can
and-
just knock on the door and just slip in some carrots and celery
Yeah.
sticks.
Yeah.
Give
But
them
the,
that
but, but
boost.
the thing is, you don't also want to expose your kid to lots of sugar.
Especially in
during
this
that time.
time because they're starting what they can do with all that energy and the sugar.
Exactly.
So the next thing on the list is also nuts. So it has that crunch effect, but especially walnuts, as those fatty acids your brain loves, that helps you perform. So walnuts has that omega-3, which is good for brain function. And then, of course, dry fruit. Dry fruit is good because it has fiber, potassium, it has iron, and it has antioxidants. And that's a nice snack. Dry fruit is a nice snack. It's convenient. It's not as, I don't want to say fruit is messy, but you know, the juicy fruit biting into, yes, it tastes nice, but in this time, you don't want to mess all over your notes. So dry fruit is a perfect one as well. And then, you know, breakfast is the most important meal of the day.
Oh, it's my favorite.
So let's stay away for now from the Cocoa Pops and the Milo cereals. Yeah, even
That's
the
like breakfast dessert.
so let's go with the oats.
Yes.
So the oats is very good for breakfast
And it doesn't
because
have sugar.
yeah, it's full of magnesium, so you don't need the slow mag.
Because it relaxes your
Yes,
muscles naturally.
The oats has that, and you have vitamin B6, you have potassium in there, and all these things that makes you feel good, and it contributes the combination of those three contribute. Why can't I speak? Contributes. There we go.
Here we go.
To lowering your anxiety. Amazing. Just by what you eat can lower your anxiety and your stress level during exam time. And then, of course, the one that everybody loves. Tell me, you said it earlier. Chocolate.
Oh, man.
Am I telling you to eat chocolate? Yes, I am. But-
there must be a but, yeah. I was going to
No,
say.
there's no buts. There's no buts.
You can eat chocolate. I give you permission to eat chocolate as long as it's dark chocolate.
Dogs, I was going to say that.
Yes.
Because cocoa is actually healthy, eh?
So,
You can help us to understand that?
yes. So as long as the dark chocolate you're looking for 70% and up.
Oh, but that's better, though.
It
No,
is
but
the
it's
bitter
but it's
stuff.
but you get used to it. I like dark chocolate. I love dark
Okay.
chocolate. So you can in
Yeah.
Ashwin's gonna bake us a cake. I'm gonna take that dark chocolate and we're gonna melt it down. We're gonna make ganache and we're gonna put it over the cake. But after exams, not during exams, because too much sugar. So yeah, so the dark chocolate releases endorphins, and it increases blood flow to the brain.
Wow.
Did you know that? So that
I
is
should have been
good.
eating chocolate.
Dark chocolate,
I mean,
Ashwin.
dark
Dark
chocolate, yes,
chocolate,
of course.
70%,
I should have
please.
been when I was
Not-
studying already.
Not the milky stuff, not
No, I'm
the
with
glass and a half, not that.
No,
so
I'm
the
with you.
dark chocolate is what we're looking at,
And I mean, you get those dark chocolates that have that tinge of like orange or
and sea salt.
yes, and all those
But
beautiful ones.
well, I'm like a plain and simple guy, so just give me the plain dark chocolate.
Oh.
You can keep your sea salt and your
I see-
orange
I see
skin and
Trace-
whatever.
I
in
see
there.
Tracy's pulling her face in the studio.
Yeah, it sounds a bit
Yeah.
like a punishment, but I mean, to each their own.
I think I'm going to buy some dark chocolate. You guys don't know what you're missing. So moving on to the next step is one we all know, where we spend a lot of time on, and easily we can get carried away, is social media.
That's a killer.
So you'll be on there
Memes.
just 5 minutes, and you'll be swiping, swiping, and swiping. Before you know it, that 5 minutes turns into half an hour.
True
Definitely.
story.
5 more minutes, the hour gone, and then you lost an hour. So just for this period, put your phone away, because it's going to distract you.
Mhm.
Just a small sacrifice for this short time.
You know, even if you're not doing anything and it's laying right there, and then you get a DM, and it's like,
Ping.
you want to know who that is.
Yeah. So maybe put it on silent or put it off.
Mm,
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. So there are interesting apps that lock you out of your own phone for a set amount of time, which is
Yeah.
perfect for exams, you know?
You even get those safes.
Yeah.
Have you seen them? You put the phones inside, you put a timer on it.
And you
Oh.
can't get it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like that can be like a reward system. So, okay, if I study for this hour or
Exactly.
two,
Yeah.
and then I get my phone for 5 minutes. But stick to that 5 minutes, please. The best thing is not to have it at all. Just take a break, look out the window, rest your eyes
I feel like some kids are not going to like this.
from all the reading. So, but it's a small sacrifice for
Yeah.
what you're trying to achieve in the end.
I have this saying that says, short-term sacrifices for long-term gains.
Yeah,
What do you want to gain in the long term?
yeah.
What short-term things do I have to change now for the long term?
Because I think currently our society is on instant satisfaction, instant gratification. But that's a topic for another show.
But you see, that's exactly what it is, because you get overstimulated by media.
Yeah,
It's the TV, it's all the things that
stimulate you.
stimulate you and take your attention, take your time,
Yeah,
and it makes you end up regretting sometimes that you've paid so much attention to it.
yeah. So all these are a thief of time.
Yeah.
Don't let them steal your time.
And nowadays people resort to ChatGPT as well
Yeah,
for getting some of the stuff done.
yeah,
But I would like to actually invest in yourself, because your brain is unique to you. You know how when you develop it, you can be a master at what you do.
yeah, definitely.
Can
So
we also just talk a bit about parents dealing with stressed out kids, parents being stressed out themselves?
yeah, that
when it
is
comes
coming.
to-
Let's first deal with the kids, and then we speak to the parents. We will let the parents sit down, and then we will speak to them before the show ends, and then put your worries into perspective. You know, sometimes we worry about things that is not as bad as what we make it out to be.
So what, like the future outcome, or what do you mean?
The future outcome, the current outcome, whatever is happening in your life during exams that you feel, wow, this is like huge. And I think this is where you're spending time with God. And in the Bible, there's so many verses that tell you not to worry.
Mm.
You know?
Like Philippians 4, verse 6 and 7. Can I read it?
You may.
Let me just get there. Be anxious for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be known to God. And the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds through Jesus Christ.
It's amazing.
Yeah, so it's like giving it to Him,
Yeah.
and then the peace of God will automatically seal your heart, or just give you the necessary calm that you need to.
Because it's not your
Face
worry
whatever you need.
anymore. Because you're handing it
Exactly.
over to Him. So
Exactly.
that burden that's on your back, God says,
Yeah.
give it to me, I'll take care of it.
Yeah.
And you can continue with your exams with less pressure of this worry.
You know what I used to do? Sometimes I'd read that verse, but then I'd take it upon myself again.
Yeah.
I think sometimes it's just to surrender it every time you start feeling
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah, it takes practice.
It does.
It's not going
Truly
to
does.
happen.
Overnight.
I speak to God right now and I'm telling this is the issue I have.
Mhm.
And then us as humans thinking, oh, worrying about it again. Then I think it's constantly speaking. They're having that communication with Him to say, Lord, please
Yeah.
help me. I'm, taking this upon myself again. And then we continue. And then if you need to speak to Him continuously through the day to remind yourself that, don't worry, God is in control. He's
Yeah.
got this. He's got your back.
Mm.
No matter what's happening in your life, whether it be exam stress or anything else, He's got you.
Mm. Because sometimes if you're gonna keep taking it back, you're not actually gonna believe.
Tracy read us a verse about how God was telling us, put all our burdens, all our worries on Him, and He will take it and take care of it for us, and we will feel lighter because we're handing that burden over to Him. So I hope you feel lighter after you spoke to God in the break and you told Him what's worrying you, what's bothering you, and what he needs to take from you to make you feel lighter. So, as we continue with practical things you can do to help you prepare and cope with exams. So, for those of us that drink caffeine or coffee, for this time of the exams, we're asking you to cut it out.
Completely.
Completely. And I'll tell you why. Maybe after this, you will cut it out completely out of your life. So, caffeine is a stimulant. So we all know this.
Okay.
Caffeine, alcohol, and other drugs, they're all stimulants, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what does stimulants do? So, when you drink caffeine, it increases your stress level just by drinking that cup of coffee.
That is surprising.
Yeah, it increases the
It increases your heart rate.
heart rate. Yeah.
Yes, which is
Okay.
not good.
Yeah. So it kind of brings on not a heart attack, but let's say
It gives you that, I have energy,
it raises
and I have that adrenaline and all of that.
It fakes your brain into thinking that it actually has, but it doesn't. Now, when you do then go to sleep or you crash heavy,
Yeah. And this is what you don't want during exams.
yeah,
So you're busy studying, you add that cup of coffee, and you
Lance,
in the process and you crash.
in your words, you basically run on fumes.
Yeah, running on empty.
Then it's a cycle because you're tired when you wake up in the morning and then you want to drink another cup.
Yeah,
of
because you have more exams later on.
Yeah.
So it's not you're not pacing yourself in the long term process, but rather than just getting over this exam or that second one. But then after the third one or the fourth one.
That's why we're encouraging you to eat healthy and make good choices. Eat what God has provided for us in nature. So the fruits and vegetables, the nuts, the dark chocolate.
Yeah, and it's good that you're saying that because God has made us optimal. Like, to when we do eat those things given to us in Genesis and in the Bible, it helps us to realize that when we have those things in our body and we become what God has actually made us for.
Yeah.
Because your body has actually acclimatized to the nonsense that we have nowadays. We don't always see the immediate effects, but later on it definitely catches up with us. But now if you have what God has given us and we use that, our body will be at its peak. Its performance level will be high performance.
Yeah, body and mind.
Body and mind, yeah. And your soul, it will just do you good, man.
Yeah. You'll have the mental clarity that you never thought you had. Like, you feel like, hey, I'm on my mental peak right now. But once you eat there, you realize, oh, my brain is so much faster. Yeah.
But and for those people who don't believe it, or maybe you, I don't know, need to try it. And I would say, give it a try for you. Yeah, give it a try for this exams. Give it a try and tell us what has happened. Tell us what effect it has on your life, or it had on your life when you had applied these healthy things to your life. And what is the difference counter to that?
Yeah, the person we should speak to is Candace because she took up the challenge of healthy eating. So she had a month, we challenged her, she accepted the challenge, and she's the person we could actually speak to about healthy eating.
Oh, that's a good idea.
But let's move on to the next step, which is mock exams. So this helps you get all the exam papers. So part of the stress of exams, in my mind, is that you don't know what to expect. The unknown. So by practicing with mock exams, you kind of know how they ask the questions, which questions they kind of ask. So you can prepare yourself mentally, which will not take all the stress away, but it will put you a little bit at ease. Yeah. And then, of course, the next step in this process is time management.
That's a big one.
Yeah. So, a very important one.
Yeah.
Because time management, when you're actually writing that exam, right? You're sitting in the hall or the room or the auditorium writing that exam. You need to manage your time wisely because you don't want to write too slow, then you don't finish, you don't get to all the questions. And you don't want to write too fast because then you finish too early where you could have actually taken your time and think through those questions carefully and answer those questions. Because we all know somebody that never finished exams, or they finish so soon. We're like, how is that possible? I'm like halfway through and this person is done. Like what? So you need to manage that time. You can calculate how much time you have per question. You know, some questions will take longer, some questions will take quicker, and this is all part of the practice. The practice of the mock exams, going through old papers, and this will help prepare you.
Could I just also say we need to also be consistent in practicing? Like, so for example, different study areas have different focuses.
Yeah.
So like maths, for example. I sucked at maths, guys. I was
Me
not great
too.
at maths. Oh, okay. But like I'm better with numbers now. But the point is, I was bad, and I almost failed grade 10, right? And then I started going to this, which is also a miracle. I went to go to this mathematician, or you could call it today's day. But she's got a doctorate in maths, and she's
Okay.
got a master's in psychology. And what she did with me is phenomenal, because she basically broke my barrier in my mind, where she said you can overcome the insecurity about it, that you are good enough, you can do this. I never thought so initially,
Yeah.
but she gave me lots of papers to start practicing.
Yeah.
Guys, I was there for a long time,
So it's
just working out maths.
so to
and
just to
maths.
make yourself believe that you can.
And confident, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And you know what happened? I almost failed maths, and I ended up passing matric with 64% in maths.
Well done.
Well done.
Which I feel like is way better than having my 80 in maths lit. But different people's mindsets it's different. So I'm not saying there's anything wrong with math lit, but it was for what I wanted to go and study
Yeah.
afterwards. So all I'm trying to say is you can, and this verse came to mind in Proverbs 16 verse 3 that says, commit to the Lord whatever you do, and He will establish your plans. And so it's committing to God to it and say, God, I need help with this. I'm sucky at this. I mean, there were tears that I cried, and I was like, oh God, I can't. But overcoming that was the greatest victory for my schooling life.
Yeah.
And I can only thank God for that.
And just the amount of pressure also that especially matriculants, it's like do or die, make or break.
Yeah.
And that, there are other alternatives. I'm not saying fail, but there are other alternatives.
So if that happens, it's not the end of the
it's
world.
not the end of the world.
There's
Yeah,
other options out there.
Because many people take their lives thinking,
Yeah.
this is I've failed now.
Yeah.
I'm not good enough, and
Yeah.
that what can I do from here? And we'd like you to know, even if you're struggling and it's maybe making you feel like you can't. We want you to know that you can. And if you need help, that you find that help that you need from people around you. Talk to someone. Don't go through it alone, because
Speak to a teacher. Teachers can help with these things, or they'll point you in the right direction. Speak to your parents. Speak to learners who you think
speak to someone you can trust if you're scared that they're going to judge you for it,
And also you as a parent, you know your child. You know what your child's capable of. So that would also help in terms of how you deal with them.
Give them the proper support to know that you are not a failure,
Yeah.
And I think that's the...
And this time, it is time for the parents. So the parents, it's time to sit up and listen. This is some things to help you with your child writing exams. Because we know as a parent, it's a stressful time for both you and your child because you want your child to succeed. And that is understandable. But what can we do as parents to help our child, to make this time easier for them and for us. So we're going to start with the attitude. Be upbeat, be cheerful, don't be down. Be a positive attitude, be a positive person in their child's life. Yeah, so encourage them with those healthy foods. Give them those snacks with the carrots and the cucumbers and the nuts and the dark chocolate. And the other thing is, as a parent, set realistic goals for your child. So you know what your child is capable of. If this is a child that is not that academically strong, but they thrive in other things, so you know this
Like
child...
the practical.
Yeah. So you know this child is maybe, what is a pass? A C? What is a C? How much percent is that? I'm not sure, but it's still a pass, I guess. So if this is a C child, don't expect this child to get A's, straight A's. Right? This almost reminds me of that talent show that they have where the person goes there and they sing to the judges, and the judges burst out laughing or whatever, and this person thinks they're doing amazing because their family told them.
Yeah.
No.
So let's not set unrealistic goals for
Idols.
our kids. Yeah, let's not set unrealistic goals for our kids, because you're putting extra pressure on them and on yourself.
Yeah, and you're helping them to go into a world that, that they
Isn't
they
so
will be.
kind.
Yeah, it's not so kind, but then they will be able to manage if you're more realistic.
Yeah.
But the other thing is also, don't look down upon them if they are more practical than they are academic, man.
Well, there's other
because-
avenues for them.
Yes, I mean there are great people in the Word of God as well that were more practical than they were. If you look at a guy like Paul, he was more academically inclined as well. But at the same time, he was also a tent maker. So you've got different strengths. Capitalize on those strengths. Allow them to capitalize on it. We live in a world where the system is dictated to us and saying, well, if you're it's outcomes based rather than it's needs based. And so when you get these outcomes, then you're a failure. And that's not the case, I think advisors, curriculum advisors, and other people who work in career paths and that will be able to guide you more on that as well.
Yeah. And then I would think, as a parent, what you should do is also create a study plan with your kid. So both of you know what the child is studying. So you know the child's supposed to study at this time is the break, this time he's taking a jog or a walk or just to get away from the books. So you're both on the same page when it comes to such things, which will help the child feel more organized, and you will feel a bit more relaxed because you know what's happening at what time.
And another suggestion is also to lighten their chore load during
Yeah.
exam time,
Yeah, I know a parent that told me when their children study, when they're busy with exams, they do absolutely nothing. All their job is to do at that moment is just to study. So she will make the food, she'll make the snacks, she'll give them everything they need to succeed.
Wow.
So they have no excuse, they have no reason to say, but I have to do the dishes, so I don't have time to study, or I didn't have time to eat that because I took time to do the dishes. So we eliminate all that excuses.
But then you obviously got parents that are not so fortunate who work as well
Yeah.
as study at the same time, just like their kids as well.
Yeah.
So the enormous stress and pressure that they are under is also quite relevant.
Yeah.
And so just like Psalm says that we need to call on God and He will hear us.
Yeah. And then, on that note, we are running out of time. And just like that, the show is over. I know
We haven't even touched on so much.
time flies when we are having fun and learning new things. So I would like to thank you guys for tuning in this week. We really enjoyed the show together and learning new things. And until next time, enjoy your Youth Month.
If you've been blessed by this broadcast, please like, subscribe, and follow VOP Online Radio, the voice